Okay, hi guys. I just thought I'd record this again. I've done it a few times and it doesn't seem to be working. So I thought the best thing was to go live and then we'll leave that video on the group for whoever's asleep now and out of time to check in back later. So welcome to week 2, and the focus is breathe. And why is that so important? Which is a funny thing for as I've got a bit of a cold right now. It's actually finishing, but it's a really important one for me to focus on too this week. So basically, we'll be talking a little bit about why meditation is important, and also the importance of the breath in meditation and in life, and the effect of breathing happens on the body and mind, and why you would need that and why that's important. Then we'll talk about breathing and your movement, so your yoga practice, but also how you can bring that about in your day. And we'll talk about your why and why it drives you to make decisions. And also a little bit about sugar and excess sugar. But I'll leave that up to a lot of videos that can talk about that. There's lots of videos and info about that. So basically, I think we just get started from there. So why meditate? Well, a lot of people come to meditation for different reasons. Hi, Vivi. Nice to see you. A lot of people come to meditation for different reasons. Some of those reasons are health reasons. Some of them are emotional reasons. Some of them are, wanting to achieve in life, so wanting to have big goals and they want creativity. You cannot hear very well. Okay, let's see if I've got a little microphone. I'll try and plug that in. Thank you for letting me know. It's so important. Let's see how we go with this one. Okay, let's try that. How's that? Can you hear better? Just let me know how you can hear with that on. Then the camera's not going to stand on the prod. Is that any better? It's any better with the microphone. Otherwise I might jump off and jump back on again. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, here we go. So I'll have to be holding the phone, which is going to be a bit funny, but here we go. Okay. Hey, Desi. Glad you're here. So we're just going to talk quickly about an introduction to week 2. So why meditate? Well, lots of people come for different reasons to meditation. We touched a little bit on health, and sometimes it's on hey, and sometimes it's for creativity, or there's many different reasons. Actually, there's probably as many reasons as there are people meditating, which is a lot. So for whatever reason you feel like you would like to learn to meditate, or even if you just have a curiosity about it, there's not necessarily a pull to it, I would give it a go. Give the process a go, create the time for it, and along the process you will learn the benefits of it. What happens is, generally, I notice through a lot of people, through my own experience, but also through a lot of people, why we keep coming back to them, why we keep lengthening, or not lengthening your time, but deepening our practice and learning different ways to practice, is for the reservoir of happiness it brings and the reservoir of stillness that we can tap into inside ourselves. Over time, we build up, in meditation, we build up that reservoir, and we know that it's a place that belongs to us and we belong to it, and a place that we can continually come back to when we need it. To basically build up that, so that when external life situations and challenges happen, we're not so touched by them, or they touch us, but then we have that practice to come back to. So that's why I meditate, and why starting a meditation practice is a really, really awesome thing to do. Now, the importance of the breath in meditating, in life, life is pretty important to breathe. So basically, the breath, what happens with the breath is it is affected by our psyche and our state of mind, and also our state of emotion. So if you notice you are, say, walking along and somebody frightens you, somebody jumps out and gives you a fright, what happens to your breath? You straight away, you take this deep breath in and deep inhale, and that's sort of to send this message to the brain that there's a fright and blah blah blah, and and then with the stress response happens, which we talked about in the other video. Now, what happens the opposite? What about when we get into a hot bath on a cold day? Your breath goes, ah. It's a natural expression of relaxation, of going into the relaxation response, and how to turn that on. Well, okay, so these are the two natural ways, just examples of ways our breath can be affected by our external environment. But how will then the opposite is possible, and how can we do that? Well, by bringing our attention to our breath, and by altering our breath, training our breath, we then have the effect on our mind and our body. So the actual lengthening of an exhale, like while you as you get into the hot bath, is that lengthening of that exhale is what actually triggers the relaxation response. So the longer your exhales you are, the easier the relaxation response can come. So a great thing to do if you're ever feeling stressed throughout the day is just something you can do anywhere, anytime, is just lengthen your exhales. If you're feeling there's a moment, what can I do? Even a stressed moment, an anxious moment, a sad moment, it's lengthen your exhale. So you can breathe in for, say, the count of 3, and then exhale for the count of 5 or 6. So, and by lengthening your exhale, you automatically invite the body into that relaxation mode, into that stillness, into that calming down. And the breath that we're focused on this week is called pure breathing. And what pure breathing does is basically tries to iron out any pauses or gaps there may be in the breath, any irregularities. And we do that simply by inviting the attention to the breath, and then noticing as the breath settles into its own very, very still, loving pattern of inhale and exhale. So if you haven't had a chance to give that one a go, make sure you give that one a go, because it's great fun. And then with your yoga this week, again, using the practice, concentrate on your inhales and exhales. So every time you find your mind wandering, or you may be finding something difficult or something, really, really notice what you're doing with your breath. Are you holding your breath anywhere? Are you maybe taking big inhales and shorter exhales? As things become challenging in our lives, often our tendency is to hold our breath or clench our jaw or bring tension in some form in our body. And just practice releasing that. So just bringing your attention to the breath and bringing your attention to making your inhales and exhales really full and long as a beautiful, beautiful way to invite that sense of relaxation. But what we can do right now is just practice that in lengthening the exhale. So get really comfortable wherever you are. And then you may like to close your eyes, or you may like to keep them, a little bit open, which is perfectly fine. And then just bring your attention to your breath. And then as you, the next inhale, just count your inhale for however long it is. And then as it finishes and turns into the exhale, count your exhale and go for doubling that exhale without straining though. Two more times like that. So inhale, count your inhale. And then exhale and extend the exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. and gently open your eyes. So you can see, I don't know if you can notice or if you've noticed any difference, but often we can see a difference just 3 breaths can make, and that lengthening of the exhale. So I know we've touched on that before, but I always think it's a great thing to bring into your day wherever you need it. And this practice of pure breathing will bring that in even more naturally during your day. So next we'll move on to your nutrition guidelines. Now the first one is to bring mindfulness to your eating, which again is just focusing on your very lots of love, which is focusing on just taking some time out to be with the food that is in front of you, nourishing you. And so the tendency today can be to either be on our phones or have our phones next to us ready to answer calls when we want to. Also to have maybe a computer screen in front of us, or be watching the news. I mean, these are all practices that take away from us having an amazing experience of just nourishing ourselves with what's in front of us. So what you can do, there's a few quick tips, and then I'll send off a PDF here in the Facebook page. I'll link the PDF. But basically what you can do is, if you have time to prepare your food, do that. If you don't, and you're sitting to someone else has prepared it for you either at a restaurant, or give yourself at least the time to appreciate it. So you'll either unwrap it, or you will put the plate in front of you, sit down, but take a moment to be grateful for the food that's in front of you, and a moment to really use your senses to appreciate that food. So maybe you'll smell it, maybe you'll feel the warmth, just gently placing your hands above the food and feel the warmth, or feel the warmth on the bottom of the plate. If it's warm, if it's a cool salad on a hot day, you'll feel the crunch of the lettuce leaves as you begin to eat. But again, just bring your awareness to that. And a great thing to do is do those 3 long exhales before you eat. That can be such a great thing to do, to bring that mindfulness about. Again, I'll send out a great PDF. I'll link a great PDF to the thing with more if you're more interested in that. Also, anything I touch on, please let me know if you're more interested in something as opposed to something else, because I could talk for hours and hours about this stuff. I love it. But I know you've all got lots of really busy lives. So let me know what you find more interesting and what I should touch on more maybe in the questions and answers. And I'd love to get back to you with that. Now, we're moving on to quickly your journal questions, your why and why it drives what you do and how it can help you. So why is your why so important? This week I've asked you to write a why to the what you vision you want for those different categories. Now, the why is so important because our why becomes why we make certain decisions. Hey Kiara, nice to have you here. So your why drives what you do. Our why is also, what do you want to feel? It's really a really interesting question to ask yourself if you've never done that before. Well, what do I want to feel when I sit down to eat my meal? And what do I want to feel when I'm exercising, or when I'm with my family, or it could be anything. When I'm working on my finances, what do I want to feel? That was a big one for me. And when we get to our why, it can be helpful for 2 reasons. One, for motivation, so for you to even begin to do the practices of meditation and yoga, but also for decision making, which is bringing awareness to the moment. So it will also help with because your why drives what you do. So if you're wanting to feel a certain way, that's why we tend to do certain things, buy certain things, or go certain places, or because we want that feeling. So if our dream is to be on an island holiday, often it's because we're dreaming of feeling relaxed, or really feeling disconnected from technology, or there's a host of different reasons you may be wanting to feel that. What we can do is, embody that feeling and embody those practices right where we are. So that's why your why drives what you do. It's connected to a part of the brain called the limbic brain. And the limbic brain is our decision-making brain. That's what makes you react to your gut feeling or your gut decision-making. So that's why we say, I just have a gut feeling that this is right for me or wrong for me, or that's the part of the brain that's making that decision. Now, if you want to know more about that, there's a really, really great TED Talk by Simon Sinek about your why, and I would definitely recommend to watch it. It's awesome. If it's the only one you watch this week extra, then do it. It's a really, really great video. Now, another nutrition guideline that we've got this week is if you're having excess sugar, to aim to cut that back or cut that out. Just bringing, again, awareness around your eating, and if there's excess sugar going in during out the day. Why is this important? Well, there's a host of information on sugar, but why was it important for me? Well, one of the main things is it can trick you into feeling on a sugar high. It actually gives you the same feelings as cocaine. Actually, it's more addictive. No, not the same feeling, but that little trigger of a high. And what happens is, though, after that high, is that there is inevitably a low, because that's the way the body and the health works in harmony. So bringing too much of that sweet into it can really affect your well-being. And so basically we just want to either cut back on sugar or just be aware of where you're having excess sugar. It's a simple process. This week we've decided to replace it rather than cut it out and not have anything. Replace it with something salty. So replace it with either a piece of cheese or some nuts, or you can find something to replace it with, and replace it with that. And then again, with your call to action, it's embodying gratitude. Now, embodying gratitude, so the same questions as last week, but this time just inviting that gratitude into actually to feel it in your heart, feel it in your body, feel it in your mind. Really, really feel that gratitude and search deep inside you for a place. Again, if you're feeling like you want to be grateful for different things, look for something different every day to be grateful for. You'll find that the answers are there if you just expand it. Again, it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. It can be big if you want to. Anything that you're feeling really grateful for. Okay, I think that's about it. So have a lovely, lovely week too. And I'll be back during the week with a few different things, some different info, some different things you can do, and also different practices. So there'll be a relaxation coming, which you can add to your either daily or just a few times a week practice. And yeah, so I just leave you with have a beautiful day and have a beautiful week. Bringing some attention to your breath, which is a really, really important practice. So I hope you have a great one, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye. And please let me know also what you'd love to talk about, what you'd love to learn about, because I'd love to cater this for you guys. Okay. See ya. Bye. Thank you.